China is rebuilding America's dead classic cars, and nobody saw this coming. The cars America loved are gone. Where are they? There are cars that were never just cars. The Ford Bronco wasn't just a truck. It was Friday nights, dirt roads, and the smell of summer. The Datsun 240Z wasn't just a sports car. It was a poster on every teenage bedroom wall in America. The AE86 wasn't just an economy coupe. It was the car that made ordinary people feel like racing drivers. These machines carried entire generations of memories. And then, one by one, rust took them. Accidents took them. Time took them. Today, finding a clean example of any of these cars feels less like shopping and more like archaeology. But here is what nobody saw coming. More than 7,000 miles from Detroit, inside a factory most Americans have never heard of, someone is building them again. Not restoring them, not copying them, building them. Panel by panel, piece by piece, from flat sheets of raw steel. And the country doing it is China. The cars nobody wanted until everyone did. Here is the part of this story most people forget. There was a time when nobody cared about these cars. Not dealers, not collectors, not enthusiasts. The AE86 was just a cheap economy car. The Datsun 240Z was just another used Japanese sports car sitting in someone's driveway. The first-generation Bronco was just an old truck with rust around the wheel wells. In the 1980s and 1990s, these weren't investments, they weren't museum pieces, they were transportation, and they were treated like it. Thousands were abandoned in fields, thousands were modified beyond recognition, thousands were simply crushed when they stopped running because nobody thought twice about it. If you told a Bronco owner in 1985 that his truck would one day sell for six figures, he would have laughed at you. If you told an AE86 owner that enthusiasts worldwide would one day fight over clean examples, he would have thought you lost your mind. But that's exactly what happened, and it created a problem nobody planned for. The cars that became legends were the same cars that got used the hardest, driven the most, and protected the least. They were never built to last 50 years. They just became too important to disappear. The crisis nobody could fix. For anyone who has tried to restore a classic car, the reality hits fast and hits hard. It is not the engine that stops a restoration. It is not the transmission. It is not the suspension. It is the body. Because steel never stops aging and water never stops working. A rusty fender can be repaired, a rusty floor pan can be replaced, but what happens when every critical panel is gone? What happens when the frame itself has dissolved? What happens when the only thing left of the car is its paperwork? For decades, enthusiasts had exactly two options: spend a fortune rebuilding whatever remained, or watch another classic disappear forever. And the parts situation made everything worse. Ford moved on, Toyota moved on, Nissan moved on. These companies had no financial reason to keep producing body panels for vehicles that left showrooms 40 years ago. So the parts dried up. Prices for donor cars exploded. Restorers started cannibalizing good cars to save worse ones. And every single year, more classics crossed the line from restorable to gone. The gap in the market grew larger and larger, filled with frustrated builders, impossible searches, and climbing prices that put genuine restoration out of reach for ordinary enthusiasts. Then, a company in China looked at that gap and asked a question nobody in America had thought to ask. What if we just built them again? Inside the factory, nobody expected. Most Americans still picture Chinese manufacturing the way it looked 20 years ago: crowded assembly lines, cheap labor, mass-produced goods with no soul. What exists inside this facility is something else entirely. The scale alone stops visitors cold. Building after building, row after row of CNC machines, industrial presses, robotic cutting systems, and thousands of steel components organized with a precision that looks closer to aerospace than automotive. And the mission at the center of it all is not building the next electric vehicle or the next crossover SUV. It's rebuilding automotive history. The process begins with something surprisingly straightforward: an original car. Engineers take it apart completely. Every panel, every bracket, every curve, every reinforcement is laser scanned into a precise digital 3D model. From that model, specialized teams begin creating stamping dies, the enormous steel molds that shape flat sheet metal into body panels. This is where the scale of the commitment becomes almost unbelievable. A single vehicle requires more than 300 individual dies. Some dies take weeks to complete, some weigh hundreds of pounds, some require dozens of hours of CNC machining, followed by hours of hand polishing to reach the tolerances required. 300 separate tools for one car. Not a production run of thousands, one car. That level of investment doesn't happen by accident. It happens when someone decides something is genuinely worth saving. Dead cars coming back to life. Once the dies are ready, the transformation begins. Flat sheets of raw steel feed into the presses. Seconds later, they emerge as body panels, fenders, doors, roof sections, quarter panels, floor pans, shapes that disappeared from production lines decades ago, suddenly becoming real again, one press cycle at a time. Walk deeper into the facility, and the sight becomes genuinely surreal. Rows of brand new 240Z roofs, stacks of AE86 quarter panels, fresh Bronco body shells lined up and waiting. It looks less like a factory and more like an alternate timeline, a world where these cars never stopped being produced. But here's the detail that surprises even the most skeptical visitors. Many of these new bodies actually received better corrosion protection than the originals ever had. When the Bronco, the 240Z, and the AE86 were first built, rust protection standards were nowhere near what modern manufacturing can achieve. That inadequate protection is one of the primary reasons so many of them disappeared. The new bodies coming out of this factory, built to a 40-year-old design but manufactured with 21st century materials and processes, may actually outlast the originals by decades. A classic design protected by modern science. And slowly, as hundreds of individual components come together and workers begin welding, aligning, and assembling, a recognizable shape emerges. The roof, the pillars, the floor, the fenders, the shell. A car is being born. Not restored, not repaired, born. The question that has no easy answer. Here is where this story gets genuinely complicated and where the debate inside the car community gets loud. Philosophers have argued for thousands of years about a thought experiment called the ship of Theseus. If every plank on a ship is replaced one by one over time, is it still the same ship, or is it something entirely new? Classic cars now face the exact same question. If the floor is new, the doors are new, the roof is new, and the frame is new, what exactly remains of the original vehicle? For one group of enthusiasts, the answer is obvious. If the spirit of the car survives, the car survives. The shape, the proportions, the driving experience, the feeling. That is what made these machines meaningful, not the specific molecules of steel they were stamped from. For another group, the answer is equally obvious and completely opposite. Originality is everything. Provenance matters, and a car built in China in 2024 is not a 1969 Bronco, no matter how accurate the stampings are. Neither side is completely wrong, and the market is not waiting for the debate to resolve. People are buying these bodies, restorers are building with them, demand keeps growing. Which suggests that for a significant number of enthusiasts, preserving the experience matters more than preserving every atom of original steel. Because a car sitting in a field dissolving into rust is not preserving history, it is losing it. What this story is really about. On the surface, this looks like a story about cars. It is not. It's a story about what happens when something becomes rare enough that ordinary market forces cannot save it, and someone decides to intervene anyway. For decades, America built things. Cars, machines, factories, entire industries that defined what this country was. Many of those industries moved, transformed, or vanished, and along with them went the tools, the dies, the institutional knowledge required to recreate what had been made. What makes this factory remarkable is not that it exists in China. What makes it remarkable is that it exists at all. Someone looked at a problem the original manufacturers had, abandoned, calculated the enormous cost of solving it, and decided the answer was worth building 300 custom dies for a single car model. Whether you find that inspiring or unsettling probably depends on how you feel about where manufacturing went and where it is going. But every Bronco body, every 240Z shell, every AE86 quarter panel rolling out of that facility represents something larger than steel. It represents the belief that great machines deserve a second life. And in one of the most unexpected developments in the history of American car culture, some of the cars that defined this country may survive the next 50 years because someone halfway around the world decided they were worth remembering. Before you go, here's the question I want your honest answer to. Drop it in the comments right now. If you could buy a brand new body shell for your dream classic car built to exact original specifications from fresh steel, would you use it? Or does the idea of a new body change what the car means to you? Because that answer reveals something important about what we actually value when we say we love these machines. Hit like if this story surprised you. Subscribe to AK Truthix. We find the stories happening on the other side of the world that change how you see this one. Notifications on. Next video is already in the works, and it's going to hit just as hard.